Guys, I've got to take a break from the recruitment tool games. I'm sorry. Oh, man, that fucking Zog's Nightmare game, that was a fucking doozy. But, I gotta take a break from that shit. Also, it seems like every game I wanted to record for that little series of offensive games, like I wanted to play Manhunt, I couldn't get that to work. I wanted to play JFK Reloaded, but I couldn't make that interesting. It's already been done well enough with like the JFK horse gimmick. I can't top that. So I'm gonna take a break from that for a while and just focus on a few old-timey Western games. You know, because Call of War has had its roots in the Old West, the setting of the Old West before the cartel, obviously, which is what we're LPing right now, by the way, in case you're not following the thread that I'm posting these videos to. But enough about that. What you're looking at right now, for those of you born, let's say, after 1989, was the Commodore 64 really around 1989? I don't know. I had an Apple II growing up, which is what I played today's game on first. We are playing the Commodore 64 version, since it is the best version of 1985's Law of the West. I should also mention that this game came out on the Famicom, not the NES. Only got released in Japan on the Famicom, never got ported to the NES here in the States or in Europe. Because I guess, Japan, Commodore 64 and Apple II didn't quite catch on like they did over here, so what can you do? But I'm gonna take my Commodore 64 cartridge out and I'm going to insert it into my Commodore 64 here. Well, this is gonna take some time to load. These old diskettes, they take some time to load. With translation of that is I'm going to load it up in the emulator, which is instantaneous, thank God. Commodore 64, for those of you who don't know, I'm not going to go over the whole history of the console, because that would be unnecessary. Just look it up yourself if you're that interested. But it had some ridiculously long load times for these floppy diskettes. But luckily with emulation, modern emulation, we've solved that issue. Catchy little tune up front. Law of the West. This guy on the left here, he's a sheriff. We play as the sheriff, and we deal with a number of citizens in this quote-unquote stinking town of ours. This guy right away, I don't like his attitude. But, we have these dialogue options here, and we can play this however we want to. We can develop a little personality, develop a character for our player character if we want. We can, just be formal. Yes, what may I do for you, sir, who has just insulted my town? We can just be, nasty to him. And what's it to you, punk? We can be, tough law. We can be, you got a burr under your saddle, boy. Or we can be a pushover. Well, yeah, yes, son. And it's a pretty nice town, if I do say so myself, in my humble opinion. So, Or we can just draw a gun on him and shoot him right now. Because that's an option. You can just shoot anyone at any moment in time if you so desire. Surprising amount of depth for a Commodore 64 game, I want to say. Although it's limited. But I mean, every dialogue option will yield a different response, and you can take these conversations in multiple directions. Right now, let's play the coward sheriff. You can stay if there's no trouble. Just don't hurt me. What a good attitude, I'm glad. Horse puppy. You gotta love that old West slang. Oh! I wasn't expecting him to draw on us. But yeah, if you, certain characters will just draw their weapons on you. You can goad pretty much, I want to say most of the people in the game into drawing a weapon on you. Or you can just execute them. You'll see some people who you can shoot later who you should probably face some sort of consequence for killing, but you don't. I mean, it's a Commodore 64 game. You can only have so much depth. And these conversations that you have and the choices you make don't really affect later in the game other conversations. They will affect your scoring at the end, but what does that matter? Unless you're some crazy person going for a high score. But, hello, Miss Rose. I like the coward sheriff idea. I want to say that this is one of my favorite Commodore 64 games, if not my favorite, which admittedly, not the longest list. Like I said, I grew up with the Apple II. So I'll just combine the two, since a lot of Apple II games and Commodore 64 games came out on both ends, as well as the ZX Spectrum and what have you. All those old computers that had different versions of these games. But, I mean, it's a pretty short list. Oregon Trail's on there. Because, I mean, whatever. It's a pretty generic short list, but it is what it is, and this game is pretty good. I'll say this game stands some sort of test of time. If it were to be remade today, I'm just going to pick this dialogue option, because if you wait too long, some characters will just walk away from you. So, I just want to prevent that from happening. But, if this game were to be, like, remade for, let's say, like, the iPhone or iPad or whatever, one of those things that I don't even own, so I don't know why I'm bringing it up, I don't know, maybe it's like a Flash game, it's anything. Like, any sort of remake of this, I would buy that shit in a heartbeat. This game's fucking great. I love the premise of it. I love, it's like this formed a foundation for, like, you know, like, your future, like, Alpha Protocols or Knights of the Old Republic, like, having, like, these dialogue options, I want to say. Well, gee, ooh, that's just mean. I'm like, I'm good, I guess I'm just shy. I'm just shy. Oh, she digs it. Huh, we're getting that Pope pussy tonight. So at the end of the game, you're scored on, like, different things. Like, you're scored on, like, you know, your ability to interact with the women, your quickness on the draw, your diplomacy, things like that. So, we'll see how all of these conversations, you know, how we scored on this. Well, this guy looks like he wants to shoot it out, but this would be the coward option here, but, I'm going to forego that to show something else off. Like, this guy is obviously some sort of bandito, as they call them. This guy, unless you know how to dissuade him, he'll probably draw on you and you'll probably have to shoot it out. But, I mean, the weird thing about this game is, and, you know, with the scope of this game, you know, the limitation to the time is that these characters, depending on which way you steer the conversation, they have, like, these wildly different personalities. Like, if you pick any of these, first two or the last one, he turns out to be like a bandito who's just come to town to duel you. But if you recognize him as the Mexicali kid, he acknowledges he is, and then you ignore all these bounty options, and you say, hey, I've heard some good things about you. He tries to assist others if he can. It'll be nice having him in town. And that's it. And then I guess he turns out to be a nice guy and you don't have to shoot it out. And he stays around and helps out your town, I guess. You don't really get a follow-up. You don't get like a fucking Stripes-style ending where they tell you what all the characters are up to nowadays. So you don't know what happens in this town after the end of the day. The goal of the game is to make it to the end of the day, by the way. I mean, that's like the primary goal of the game. The primary objective is just to survive. Survive all the shootouts, you know, make peace with the town. But like I said, you can play it however you want. You can be just a rude piece of shit to everybody, and everyone will hate you, and half the town will draw their gun on you. Or you can play a coward, and people will want to draw their guns for a different reason, because they want to take advantage of you and kill the sheriff. Like the banditos. This is the doctor. I think in the instruction manual, and as you can gather from these conversations, he's a bit of a drunk. So we're just gonna call him out on it, why don't we? And there's a reason I'm doing this. Yeah, why do you drink all the time? Basically, this doctor, if you get shot in a duel or in a draw-off, you'll go into bleed. You start bleeding out, and the doctor at this point in the game can come around and patch you up. But if you're on bad terms with him, you'll just fucking die, or he'll just leave you for dead. He'll come around and say, "I ain't helping him," and just walk off, and that's game over. So we're gonna stay on his good side. I appreciate it when you patch me up. So, there you go. We want to keep him. We don't want to burn that bridge just yet. And yeah, walk off, why don't you? Up, it's time to turn over the disc. So I'm going to eject the disc from my Commodore 64 here. I'm holding it in front of the microphone. You can't see it right now because it's a microphone, not a camera. Now I'm juggling it. I'm throwing it in the air. Oh no, I fell on the floor and shattered into a dozen pieces. Oh, I'm gluing the pieces back together now. I have my Elmer's glue here, and oh, that looks good as new. Let's put that back in the Commodore 64. Or, I can just use the emulator to select the next disc, and there we go. Now this guy here, he's got his gun out already. Well, it's quite nice. So we could go back to being the coward sheriff, or, we could be Tia Fargoon if we want. Yeah, I like the coward sheriff, sorry. That's way funnier to me. Well, not really afraid. Ha ha ha, a real live chicken. Shut up. You can't call me that. Sticks and stones may break my bones. Ooh. I thought he was drawing on me. If it says trigger happy, or if it says, aren't you a little trigger happy? That means that, that he wasn't intending to draw on you at that moment in time, at least. This is a little kid. He actually happens to be the son of a character we'll see later. I got a secret I won't tell. Howdy, Willie. What's your secret? My mama prayed me promise not to tell. I don't like children, so I'm gonna go with this first option. Oh! That's what you get. So I just executed that kid in the middle of the street in broad daylight. This is his mother. She doesn't know that I killed him yet. By the way, his secret was that, or I think he actually has two secrets depending on the dialogue options you choose. One of them is that this little lady right here, Miss April, is going to the dance with the doctor. But we want to get up in those guts, so we're gonna try and steal her away. How are things? Never mind the fact I murdered your son. Would you like to go with me, or I'd love to go with you? Which is better? Which is smoother? Let's take initiative. I'd love to go with you. Well, I'd be most honored. Let me just go home and tuck my son in. Wait, where'd he go? What happened? Little Willie? Then I'll have to dump Rose. That's such a shitty thing to say! A Corden and a Sparkin. These are all great. Oh. I want to see her reaction to this. Oh, you bitch. That's just a school teacher I just murdered. No consequence for it, though, so... You know, it started with that guy with the shotgun, and now we've put ourselves on a path, a dark path. You cheated him again, gambler. We've got our confidence now. Now we've murdered, we've manned up, we've killed. We're not gonna take shit from nobody. You're disgusting. Who you calling 2-bit, you son of a bitch? Fill your hand in hell. This guy looks awfully similar to the guy we just murdered. From the profile view, at least. But it's our deputy, as a matter of fact. Don't get uppity with me, pilgrim. I like this one. I want to goad this guy into drawing. I want to kill my own deputy. Let's drag it on a bit. I think I can still piss him off with this. I don't think I need to go straight to the dead body shit. I'm dead serious. You could just be dead. Or I could just keep fucking griefing him. Oh! I was sort of half expecting him not to shoot just yet. That's why I was still hovering over him. Let's see if the doc can patch us up. Yeah, come on, Doc. Okay, good. He's come to our rescue. Oh! Oh! Oh, no. Oh! He just left us to die. That's... I guess I pissed him off by killing half the townsfolk. Oh. Okay. Maybe, I mean, that's what can happen in this game. I mean, that's a possibility, that you just die before the end of the day is through. Should I give it another run? Or should I leave you to discover this game on your own and play it through yourself? Ah, let's do it one more time. Because I like this game. I like it a lot. Okay, this time, let's skip the coward sheriff bit. Let's not execute innocent people in the middle of the street. I don't want to play it completely straight either, though. Trying to think. I'm a fan of old westerns. Let's, how about we, play this as, Trinity? Why don't we, play as Terrence Hill type? Just, you know, he's like a little goof, you know, like, he'll joke around, he'll josh you, but he's mighty fast on the draw. I face the toughest hombres around. That just seems so out of left field. It's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna love it here. I've faced the toughest hombres around, don't you mess with me. That wouldn't be keeping in the character I just said we were gonna play as. Ah, fuck the character. Why do I need to pick a character? I'm just gonna pick whatever the fuck I want. Making decisions on the fly. Do I know Jesse James? Yeah, and I don't like him. Actually, if I say this first dialogue option here, it'll take us to a special event, a special action instance. So that's what I'm gonna go with. give us a higher score. It'll give us high points in diplomacy for talking with this guy, and it'll also bring us to this next screen here, which we didn't see the first time through. You can miss a lot of stuff playing through this game the first time. This is a game that rewards multiple playthroughs and different play styles. Like, we just gunned down Jesse James, or at least some member of his posse. And like I said, we missed that completely the first time. Let's talk to the prostitute again. Miss Rose, I believe her name is? Last time we played Coward. Played Nervous. But let's, You know, I decided who we should play as. I decided the persona I want to play as. Ray McCall's the sheriff of this here town. And he don't appreciate no prostitutes. No, they sinners. I'm doing the Lord's work. Get back to your den of iniquity. I used to be able to do a better Ben McCall, Ray McCall voice. May Providence forgive you. I'll stop doing that voice. Yeah, I'll shoot you in the back. No. Oh! Wait, what? She saw me pull it? I forgot that could happen. If they see you pull the gun, they'll shoot you. Oh. And unfortunately, the Doc's not in town yet. He hasn't arrived on the train. There you go. And I didn't make it. Well, that's one way to play the game. There are some other options later on. You can play the religious preacher type if you want. You can play a total coward. You can play a straight lawman. You can play this game whichever way you please. And like I said, I really think this game is a good game. I think it stands up. Maybe the graphics don't. Maybe if you're one of those types who obsessed with the graphics, you'll whatever. Fuck you. It's a fun game. It's fun. It's just fun. It is what it is. And someone please remake this game. Get the license for it, and just put it out again. And I'll buy it. I'll buy an iPhone to buy this game. I'll buy an iPad to buy this game. Maybe I won't go that far. I don't know. Just someone do something with this. Or you can just tell me in the comments to go fucking play Alpha Protocol or Knights of the Old Republic or some other game with dialogue options, which I could do, but I still have a place in my heart for the classics. And I'm a sucker for old westerns. This game was like right up my alley, and I played the shit out of it back on the Apple II. And and you should track this down. You should try to find a way to play it. Make your own fun with this. That's all I've got to say. That's said my piece. Go scram, vamoose.